Hi guys, this is Kenya. Welcome back to Kenya's Decor Corner. So today I wanted to share with you guys how I set up my Thanksgiving buffet. So let's get started. So I'm starting here on the end of our very large kitchen breakfast bar island. And so that is where the majority of everything happens as it relates to the food buffet. But we will start here on this side where I place our dinnerware. So we have our dinnerware placed here, which are items that I purchased from Costco. It's all plasticware, but it's very nice. It looks like china. And I've wrapped the forks and knives and spoons inside of these dinner napkins as well, so that our guests can just grab one, grab their plate, and start the buffet. Now, for those family members that enjoy coffee, I have the coffee station set up there. And pan around here, I have this bucket that will be filled with water, soda, and juice boxes for the kiddos. And we'll pan around here, and you'll see where I have, I will make a sparkling tea. It's kind of like a punch. So I have that here, which I'll put in my beautiful pumpkin dispenser. I thought this was so beautiful. I purchased this at Walmart last year at the beginning of fall when they had a lot of them. I initially thought I'd wait until the after season sale, but I was not sure if I'd be able to get one and they would still have them, so I made sure that I picked that up right away. Now I will say that it's normally flat, but I have it placed on a glass cake plate there. And I have all of my glasses. And I have some clear plastic cups for the kiddos. And so I'm going to pan back here a bit and start at this end of our buffet. Now, as you guys can see, I have everything labeled so that the day of, I don't have to think about or worry about where things are supposed to go. And if I need any of my family members to help me in putting the food out, they know exactly where it should be without having to ask me, 1,000 questions. So let's start here. As you guys can see, I have my centerpiece that you guys saw me. There's a video that I did where I put this display together. So I just kind of centered it more on the island at an angle. And I also added these mercury glass vases that I recently hauled from Ross to this display, which I think just really makes it pop. It adds a little bit of even more interest. And I just thought it was really pretty. And I like for there to be something interesting to look at from this side of the island as well as from the other side. So when you're standing in the kitchen looking out towards the living room, you have something visually appealing to look at. So let's start with where things really go down over here. So this is where I will have my turkey on display, and we serve oxtails at Thanksgiving time. My husband is a real meat eater, and he's from the South here, and so in the South they love their meat. So he has oxtails that I'll serve in this beautiful dish. And I will say that this is all of my white serveware items I purchased over the years. So this is a collection over a few years. And they've come from different places. Some items were from like the King Dollar to Marshall's and TJ Maxx. So yeah, so let's move in here. As you can see, this is my turkey platter. And I have two different gravy boats because many of my family members like the giblet gravy. I personally do not, so I prefer turkey gravy. So I make the two different gravies. And we have our ham here on this beautiful display tray. And we'll pan around here. And in these very large bowls, I will place our mixed greens and mac and cheese. These bowls are so pretty. I actually picked them up last year from TJ Maxx. So I thought they were a nice addition to my collection. Now moving in here again with this turkey platter, I will share with you guys, you see the platter on top? We're on the bottom here. The platter is actually flat, so I added coffee cups under the bottom to give it the height that I wanted. And so I turned the coffee cups in towards each other so that the handles will kind of overlap and make a really cute little crisscross there. So it makes it look like the tray is made that way. And most people don't ever know that that tray is actually flat and those are coffee cups elevating it. So that's a nice way to add interest, because when you have your display set up, you really want there to be some variety in the heights. You don't want everything to just be flat on the countertop. So this adds some visual interest with things at varied heights. So let's move in here. So with these larger bowls, I also picked up these two smaller bowls. And in there we'll have cranberry sauce, which my husband loves, the canned cranberry sauce. And we'll have stuffing and dressing there. And I like cranberry salsa, so that's what we'll have in that bowl. So here is an aerial view of the main food station. And even though I have those pink stickers to help with knowing where food items will be placed, I will actually make these make little place card holders, or place cards, menu cards, to place in these little picture frames that I picked up from Michael's, and they will label each dish. So my family and guests, if they weren't sure what items there are, they will be placed in these little picture frames here. And so these were from Michael's for $1.50 in their little dollar spot, but I purchased those last year, or actually maybe earlier this year, maybe in January or so. They had them on sale for $1, so I picked up a lot of those. Here's the view again. And we still have my bar stools here, so guests can sit here also if they would like. I set up the food buffet so that everything is kind of around the perimeter of the island, and there's still seating available if guests want to sit here. So let's move in a bit. So you can see this side, I will have my yams in my soup tureen. I was going to try making butternut squash soup, but my family thought, soup? Why would we have soup? It's still warm here. So I just nixed that idea and decided just to put my yams in the soup tureen. So I have my salt and pepper shakers, butter dish next to the rolls. And again, this is a serving plate that I've placed on top of a coffee cup. As you can see that there. And it just adds a little height so that the rolls aren't just flat. Yeah, so really simple and easy. And if you're concerned that it might slide, then you can use a little grippy anti-skid paper that you can get from the dollar store, just to place a little bit under it so that it doesn't slide around. But honestly, I've never had a problem with it moving. So yeah, and we'll move in with these little trays here with our dirty rice, green beans, potato salad. I purchased these from Burlington's a few years ago, and you can place little tea candles under here to keep your food items warm. I usually don't do that, but it is an option. So we'll pan around here again. And now let's move into our dessert bar. Now, as you guys can see, we have a huge variety of dessert options. So let's just dive in here. I have this 3-tiered pie stand, which I thrifted this some years ago, and I just spray painted it gold. I thought it was so pretty. And I just have some of my plates that I purchased from Bed Bath & Beyond after our wedding here. and they fit perfectly on this tray. So we'll have pecan pie, apple pie, and sweet potato pie here. I'll have cobbler in these little pumpkin bowls that you guys saw on my dining room table. And I will show you in another video how I have changed around my dining room table to accommodate for our dinner guests. And here I will serve fresh fruit with a dipping sauce in the center. And we have cookies on the 2-tier tray there, which I purchased those from Target after Easter. I got them for, I think, 70% off, so it was a huge deal on those. You guys have seen my candy station here. I will refill it with all of our favorite candies. And here we'll have snacks such as, trail mix and pretzels and that kind of thing for our guests to snack on while we're waiting for dinner. And we'll have brownies on the 2-tier tray there. And I prefer Dreyer's ice cream, and that ice cream fits perfectly inside this bowl. So I will sit the tub of Dreyer's ice cream inside this bowl for guests to help themselves. And I have these served plates here for our pineapple upside down cake and our carrot cake, which I've placed this tray onto one of those little cake stands from the Target dollar spot. It would not be big enough to hold our carrot cake because it's a large cake that my sister usually orders from Luby's, and so that's why I put this large serving tray here. Alrighty guys, well that is it. That is how I have everything set up for our dessert and Thanksgiving dinner. If you guys have liked this video, please be sure to hit the like button. Also, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel.